Hi Nana, we were learning the processes involved during metallurgy. So in that extraction of metal from the concentrated ore, we have seen. Okay, metal can be extracted from the concentrated ore by several methods. Okay, one is electrolytic method, where by electrolytic method, metals like potassium, sodium, okay, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, so which are placed at the top of the electrochemical series. So these metals are purified by electrolytic method. They are purified, they are extracted by electrolytic method. Okay, so no reducing agent can extract these metals from their ore. So reducing agent does not work. So especially for these metals, okay, so especially for these metals, we use electrolytic method, and no other method can give these metals from their ores. And the second method is by using reducing agent. Okay, reducing agent coke. Okay, reduction by using coke. Okay, because coke is one of the reducing agent. So here, so the metals like zinc, iron, lead, and copper, okay, can be extracted from their ores by using by using the coke. By using coke, reduction takes place, and the oxides or else the ores of these metals will produce, okay, these metals when they are made to react with the coke. Okay, now we will learn the third type of reaction is reduction by using a carbon monoxide or hydrogen gas. Even carbon monoxide and hydrogen gas are used as the conventional reducing agents. Okay, so here the metals like iron, lead, and copper, okay, can be extracted from their ores by using either carbon monoxide or hydrogen. See, the metal oxide is strongly heated. The metal oxide is strongly heated either with a carbon monoxide or else with the hydrogen. Okay, by passing the carbon monoxide gas into the metal oxide or else by passing the hydrogen gas into the metal oxide. So, and strongly heating, then the metal oxide is reduced to metal. The metal oxide is reduced to metal, and the reducing agent will oxidize. Okay, so like this, the metal oxide is reduced to metal, and the reducing agent will undergo oxidation. So in this way, the metal oxide is converted into metal, or else the metal oxide, okay, metal oxide is reduced to metal. So like this, the metal can be extracted from their ores. Metals can be extracted from their ores. So like this, extraction of metals from the concentrated ore. So we have to take concentrated ore. That means these ores, they are concentrated before subjecting these ores to obtain metal. Okay, so this is the method of using carbon monoxide and hydrogen for reduction of the ores of iron, lead and copper, okay, into these metals. Next method is thermal decomposition method. Reduction by thermal decomposition. Okay, thermal decomposition. See, heat also helps in reduction of the ore into metal. So particularly the metals like mercury and silver, okay, they can be obtained from their ore upon strongly heating. So what happens? Their oxides, upon heating, upon strongly heating, what happens? Their oxides or else their ores will break down. Their ores will break down and they decompose, they undergo decomposition. Hence it is called as thermal decomposition. So the ore will decompose into metal. The ore will decompose into metal. So like this. So this thermal decomposition method is used only for very least reactive metals. Okay, like mercury and silver. Right? So the third method is what? Reduction by using carbon monoxide or hydrogen gas, and the fourth method is heating or else thermal decomposition. So for this, which metals can be used? This method can be used to extract metals like iron, lead, and copper, and the thermal decomposition. So thermal decomposition method can be used to extract metals like mercury and silver. Okay, mercury and silver can be extracted by these methods. Right. Next, the last method is reduction by using aluminum powder. Okay, reduction by using aluminum powder. Even aluminum also is a strong reducing agent. Okay, so aluminum powder helps, okay, in the reduction of certain ores into their metals. For example, reduction by using what? By using aluminum powder. See, the ores of chromium and manganese, particularly, okay, chromium and chromium or manganese, or also sometimes even iron, okay, so etc. Can be obtained from their ores by using aluminum powder. Aluminum powder also will act as a strong reducing agent. See, in these cases, particularly in the case of chromium and manganese, okay, even iron also can be extracted by using aluminum powder, but particularly manganese and chromium. So for the extraction of these metals, so reducing agents cannot work. So extraction of these metals reducing agent cannot reducing agents cannot be used. Why cannot be used? Why? Because they form strong bonds in their ores. Okay, for example, chromium oxide or manganese oxide. So in the oxide of chromium, what happened? This chromium will form strong bonds with oxygen. So these reducing agents cannot break the bonds. They do not have sufficient energy to break the bonds. Okay, between the chromium and oxygen, like this. So in that case, so reducing agents cannot be used. So then, what is the alternative? The alternative is by using electrolytic method. Electrolytic method. But here, electrolytic method, it's a very risky thing. It's a very risky thing. So even this is, as it is risky thing, so no doubt electrolytic method can work. Okay, to extract these metals, but it is a expensive also and risky thing. So in order to avoid this method also, so another method known as uh, aluminum by using reducing agents. See here, reducing agents means which reducing agents cannot extract these metals from their ore. So there are other reducing agents like carbon or carbon monoxide or hydrogen. So these reducing agents do not have sufficient energy. Okay, for the extraction of these metals. But aluminum powder has energy, sufficient energy. Okay, to extract these metals. Okay, hence this method is said to be this method is said to be aluminothermite process also. Okay, here the mixture of oxides of chromium or manganese is mixed with aluminum powder. Okay, the oxide of chromium or manganese, it is mixed with aluminum powder. So that what happens? This aluminum will take the oxygen. So okay, will take the oxygen and it undergo reduction, and this chromium is left over. Okay, as a metal. Okay, so here we have to heat it strongly. Okay, so when this mixture is ignited, ignited means heating strongly. Okay, so when this mixture is ignited, what happens? So this ore is reduced to the metal. Okay, particularly this method is used in the extraction of metals like chromium and manganese. Okay, even in for the extraction of iron is also used, but uh, but particularly for chromium and manganese, because iron can be extracted by using the other reducing agents like carbon monoxide or hydrogen or even coke also can be used. But here for the extraction of these metals, so these reducing agents cannot work. Okay, these reducing agents cannot reduce the ores of chromium or manganese and to obtain the metals. Okay, so in that case, so the alternative thing is either electrolytic method or else by using aluminum powder. Okay, so as electrolytic method is a costly method. Okay, and it's a risky, hence we use aluminum powder. Okay, so like this uh, aluminum powder also helps us to for the reduction of the ores of certain metals into their metals. Okay, now so these are all different methods of extraction of metal from the concentrated ores. So after the extraction of the metal is not in the pure form. So now we got what? Metals. In all these cases we got a metal, but the metal which is obtained, it is not in the pure form. Okay, so now that metal cannot be useful as it is not in the pure form. So the next step is the purification of those metals. Okay, those metals are mixed with some impurities. So now those metals should be purified. Okay, they should be refined. Okay, so the next method is what? The next after extraction of metals, so the metal should be purified. Okay, so the next process involved during metallurgy is purification or refining. Purification or refining of metal. Okay, because the metals extracted from their ores, they contain some of the impurities like what are the other impurities? Impurities, impurities associated, impurities associated with the metal. Associated with the metal are with the metal. So what? Which this metal is called as crude metal. Okay. Or what are the impurities? Other metals. Okay. Other metals. Other metals are also present in the small amounts. Other metals are also present in the small amounts, or else sometimes metal oxides. Okay, or else their oxides are also present along with the metal as impurities. So these other metals or else their oxides, they are present in very very little amounts. So these even though they are present in the little amounts, they cause the metal to be impure metal. So that is why these impurities should be removed. Okay, and other type of impurities are the presence of some non-metal. Okay, along with the metal, some non-metals are also present. Little amounts of non-metals are present. Okay, so due to the presence of little amount of non-metals, so that metal is it cannot be called as pure metal. So it is a impure metal. So other type of impurities are non-metals. Okay, non-metals. Okay, next some dissolved gases are also present. Okay, some dissolved gases are also present as the impurities. Okay, with the metal. So in order to remove these such impurities, what we have to do? So we have to follow some purification methods, some purification techniques, or else some refining techniques. Okay, so that the impure metal, the impure metal can be purified, and finally we'll get pure metal. So for the conversion of impure metal into pure metal, so there are several methods, because this impure metal is having some impurities like this. Okay, so we have to remove all these impurities, and finally we have to get pure metal. So that method is called as purification or refining of the metal. Okay, so what are the different methods useful for the purification of metal? So the purification of the metal, again, so here conversion of impure metal into pure metal, it depends on the physical properties of the metal, physical properties of metal like melting point, boiling point, etc. Okay, and also the nature of impurities. Nature of impurities associated. Okay, nature of impurities which are present along with the metal. So, so that means based on the physical properties of the metal and the nature of the impurities, okay, we have to consider these things also in order to in order to purify the impure metal to pure metal. So based on these things, so there are several methods. So what are the several methods? So several methods of purification are: one is the distillation, another method is liquefaction, next another method is polling, another method is oxidation, and electrolytic refining. Electrolytic refining. So these are the common purification methods to purify the metal. Okay, so we will learn these processes one by one. So the first method of purification of refining is distillation. See, when distillation process can be used. So particularly the distillation process can be used in order to purify the low boiling, low boiling, low boiling metals. That means the metals which have low boiling point, like zinc and mercury. So low boiling metals, in order to purify the low boiling metals, distillation process can be used. See, because in this method, these metals, they are converted into vapors. Okay. So here, in the process of distillation, the metals along with the impurities, that means the impure metals are heated to higher temperatures. So the impure metals are heated to higher temperatures. So as they are heated to higher temperature, what happens? These metals will convert into vapors, and the impurities have higher boiling point, but these metals have low boiling point. Okay, so distillation method can be used in case of the metals which are having low boiling point and their impurities. Impurities have higher boiling point. Higher boiling point. So as impurities have higher boiling point, they remain in the solid form only, or else in the liquid form only. Whereas these metals they convert into vapors. Okay. So these vapors, they are made to condense. These vapors are separated and they are made to condense. Okay, in earthy retorts. Earthy retorts. Earthy means earthy retorts. What are retorts? Retorts are the containers where the hot substances are made to cool. Okay, hot substances are made to cool in earthy retorts. Earthy retorts means the retorts. Okay, the contents which are made up of mud or sand or like that. So earthy materials. So into those earthy materials or else earthy retorts, the vapors are condensed, and finally the pure form of these metals are obtained. Okay. So like this distillation. So this method is generally employed in the purification of the metals like zinc and mercury. They have low boiling points. Okay. The impure metal is strongly heated. So when the impure metal is strongly heated, what happens? Upon strongly heating, Upon strongly heating, what happens? See, this should be occur in the absence of air. In the absence of air. So distillation process is done in the absence of air. Okay, in the absence of air, so it is heated. The metal vapors, these metals, they convert into vapors and leave the impurities. Okay. See these vapors contain pure metal. Okay, so the pure vapors of the metal are condensed in a cooled in a condensed in a cooled earthy retorts. Okay, cooled earthy retorts, and finally, so those vapors as they condense into the metals like zinc and mercury. So finally, we'll get the metals in the pure form. Okay, so before that, impure zinc and mercury were there. So finally, we'll get the zinc and mercury in the pure form. So this method is said to be distillation method. So now, what is liquefaction? The next method is liquefaction. This is another method useful, okay, for the purification of metals like uh, lead, okay, tin, etc. So here, this method is used. I mean, in this method, so the metals which have low melting point, low melting point. So in our previous case, distillation, the metals distillation depends upon boiling point. In distillation, low boiling point metals can be purified. Metals with low boiling point can be purified. But in liquefaction, so metals with low melting point, are obtained or else are sorry, metals with low melting point are purified by this method. Okay, see in this method here there is a slope. Okay, this slope it is a metal slope, so made up of strong metal. Okay, so this is called as hearth. This slope is said to be a hearth. So that means we have to heat this hearth, slopey hearth. Okay, it is a slopey hearth. So it is called as hearth, and it is it is placed slantly or else slopey, and it is heated strongly. So now we'll get a very hot hearth. Very hot earth is obtained. Okay, so when the earth is heated, so now the these metals, okay, these metals are either lead or tin. So impure metal. So it is impure metal is kept here at the top of the earthy floor. So impure metal is kept. Impure metal is kept. So as the earth is heated to very high temperature, and this lead is having low melting point. So what happens? The metal will melt. Metal will melt slowly, and it flows down. So what is this one? Metal, pure metal, pure metal. So here in this process, impurities have high melting point. High melting point. As the impurities have high melting point, so they does not melt, and they remain here only. So impurities are left at the top only. They do not flow to much distance. So pure metal will flow to much distance, and finally the pure metal is collected somewhere at the bottom. So here pure metal is collected. Okay, that means impurities being heavier, they are left behind, okay, on the earth, and the pure metal only will flow down, and finally pure metal is collected. So impure metal, it is converted into pure metal by using slopy earth. Okay, so that what type of metals can be purified by this method? So the metals with low melting point like lead, tin, etc. can be purified by this method. Okay. Next method is polling. See, polling is a very old age method, very old. So particularly this method is used for the purification of copper, blister copper. So this method is used for the purification of blister copper. Blister copper. Okay, copper. What is blister copper? Blister copper is nothing but the copper only, impure copper. It is nothing but the impure copper which is having impurities like oxides of copper. Okay, and some other small little amount of other impurities are also present. So mainly, if the impurity is, so blister copper is nothing but the copper, but impure copper, and it is having impurities like oxide of copper and other oxides also. So mainly copper oxide is the main impurity. Okay. See, then uh, how to purify the blister copper into pure copper? See, in this method, the impure copper which contains copper oxide as the impurity. So here this blister copper or else copper, impure copper, it is melted and we'll get the liquid or else molten form of the copper. So here what is this one? Molten impure copper. Molten impure copper. So now take a log of wood. Okay, log of wood. So it should be green log. Okay, so fresh and green log take. Okay, wooden logs. So wooden logs are kept into the molten impure copper. Okay, and it is heated. So we have to maintain the heat. So now start stirring this molten copper. Okay, okay. Why this green logs are used to stir the molten impure copper. So what happened due to the heat present in this molten impurities? So this green wood logs, okay, they release certain gases. So this log will release certain gases known as wood gases. Wood gases are produced. Okay, these wood gases, they act as reducing agent. act as reducing agents. Okay, they act as reducing agent, hence, and they reduce copper oxide to copper metal. Okay, so that means these reducing agents will reduce these reducing agents. Okay, what happens? They reduce the copper oxide to copper. So like this, not only copper oxide, any other oxides if they are present along with the copper, so all those oxides are converted into their metals, or else those oxides, other oxides are converted into gases. Okay, other oxides are converted into gases, but copper oxide is converted into copper metal. Okay, all other gases, they will escape. So other gases will escape into the atmosphere, but the copper oxide, okay, copper oxide will convert into copper. So already it is a copper, it is a molten copper. It is having copper oxide mainly as the impurity, and even that copper oxide is converted into copper. So that means after some time, so there won't be any copper oxide. So that means there won't be any impurities. So all the impurities are removed either in the form of they are removed in the form of vapors. They are removed in the form of gases, and finally the pure form of copper is left over. So like this, the copper, impure copper is it is purified by a special process known as polling. So this process is specially designed for the purification of copper. Okay. Now the next method is oxidation. The next method is oxidation. See, this oxidation method, it is generally used for the purification of iron. So iron is having some impurities. Okay, like when iron is having impurities like carbon, arsenic, okay, sulfur, phosphorus, etc. So in that case, so the such iron is purified by the method known as oxidation method. So here, especially this method is used for the purification of iron, so which contain impurities like so when iron contain impurities like this is impure iron. Why it is impure iron? Because it is having impurities like carbon, arsenic, okay, uh, sulfur, phosphorus, etc. Okay. So to remove these impurities, will this method is designed. Oxidation method is designed. So what happens in this process? We have to take this impure. We have to melt it. Melt. So molten metal, molten iron. What is this one? Molten iron. Molten iron. So into this one, so oxygen gas is blown. So what is this one? Oxygen. So when oxygen gas is blown into this one, so this oxygen gas will react with the impurities. So this oxygen gas will react with the impurities and convert into their gases. So that means these impurities are converted into gases and they escape from the molten iron. So these gases, they are removed off into the atmosphere. Gases products are stripped, they are blown out of the molten iron, and finally what we'll get will this molten impure impure molten iron, it is converted to pure iron, pure molten iron. Okay, so like this, so this method, oxidation method is used for the purification of impure iron. So the last method is electrolytic method. Electrolytic method of purification. So in this electrolytic method, so the cathode is taken as the pure metal. Cathode is made up of pure metal. So the metal which we are going to purify, so that metal only we have to take. Okay. So but it is very thin cathode. Okay, thin metal. And anode, anode is made up of impure metal, the same metal. Impure metal, the same metal. Okay, the same metal. So which metal we are going to purify? So that metal is used in the preparation of cathode and in the preparation of anode. That means both cathode and anode are made up of the same metal. Okay, but cathode is made it is made up of pure metal. Okay, but anode is made up of impure metal, and it is very thick, very thick, very thick. And even the electrolyte should be should contain the electrolyte is made up of the salt of a same metal, salt of the same metal. For example, if you want to purify copper metal, example, if I want to purify copper metal, then I have to take a copper cathode. So pure copper metal as a cathode. So pure copper, very thin rod of copper. It acts as cathode. See, because I have mentioned that if you want to purify copper, then we have to take a cathode as a pure copper, and even anode is also made up of impure copper. It is made up of impure copper. Okay, and it should be very thick, and the electrolyte should contain a salt of the same metal. So that means, example, copper sulfate. It's a salt of copper. Okay, so in the, see, already we have discussed this method in our previous lesson. Okay, so what happens in this method? So cathode is very thin and anode is very thick. This is what cathode. This is connected to negative terminal, and anode is connected to positive terminal of the battery. And here this solution, the electrolyte, it is what copper sulfate, aqueous solution of copper sulfate, or else it is better to take molten. So copper sulfate, molten copper sulfate, if you take it is better. Or else we may take a solution, so copper sulfate solution. So what happens? So this anode, so it is made up of copper. Slowly the copper of anode, at anode, anode reaction I am writing. So anode is a positive electrode. So that means it requires electrons. What happens? The metal itself is made up of copper. So the copper metal of anode, remember, the copper metal of anode will lose electrons, to the anode and convert into copper ions. So now the copper metal is converted to copper ion. So copper ions are not the metal form. So those copper ions will enter into the solution. And this is what cathode. Cathode is what? Negative charged electrode, which is very thin rod. So these copper ions will move towards cathode because these copper ions are positive charged ions and this is negative charged electrode. So this negative charged electrode will attract the positive charged ions. So these positive charged ions will migrate towards cathode. That means at cathode, what happens? These copper ions will reach the cathode. These copper ions, after reaching cathode, it will take electrons. The copper ion, after reaching cathode, will take electrons from the cathode because cathode is enriched of electrons. So cathode will provide electrons for this cation, and finally that copper ions are converted to copper metal, and that copper metal is deposited. The copper metal is deposited on this cathode. So as the process is going on, as the electrolysis process is going on, what happens? Slowly the amount of copper, the copper from this anode will enter into the solution in the form of copper ions, and these copper ions will get deposited on the cathode, and finally what happens? So the amount of copper will increase. Slowly what happens? This rod will become thicker and thicker, and pure copper is deposited on it. So here it is made up of impure copper, and the rod, the anode, impure anode will decrease in its size, and the pure anode will increase in its size because the pure copper is deposited on this. So finally what happened? So here the pure copper is obtained from the impure copper by this method known as electrolytic method. So in this way electrolytic method helps in the purification of impure metal. So impure metal is made up of anode. Initially it is very thick, but the thick anode will convert into very thin anode, and initially cathode was thin. That thin cathode was converted into very thick cathode. Why? What is the reason? Because the impure metal, it will leave the anode surface and enters into the solution. So that means only metal will leave. All the impurities will be left here only. So only the pure metal ion, it will reach to the cathode and get deposited as the pure metal on the cathode. The impurities are left over only here only, and those impurities, they are collected at the bottom. The impurities which are collected at the bottom, it is said to be anode mud. So below the anode, these impurities are collected, hence it is called as anode mud. Okay, and the pure metal of the anode will finally get deposited on the cathode. So that means metal only will come and the impurities will be left behind. So metal only will get a deposit on the cathode. So now the cathode is having pure metal. So in this way the metal is purified by the process of electrolytic method. Okay, so with this different processes involved in during metallurgy are finished. So discuss uh, we'll discuss the metallurgy of a few metals like aluminium, okay, aluminium, zinc, iron, okay, etc. So we'll discuss the metallurgy of these metals, okay, in our subsequent classes. Okay, bye now.